Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Medeek Floor Plugin. My name is Nathaniel P. Wilkerson, and today I wanted to introduce to you guys the new truss module or metal plate connected trusses that have been added now to the floor plugin. So just to give you a little context, basically I've added floor trusses to the truss plugin almost 10 years ago now. That was in October of 2015. And I'm just looking here at my old changelog from way back when, and yeah, it looks like version 1.06 is when we added the modified Warren truss system to the truss plugin. And ever since that day, and I've made many updates to that module in the truss plugin since then, but ever since that day I added that, I always wanted to have it so that I could generate basically polygon shaped floors that were these metal plate connected trusses, right? And of course that was never possible with the floor plugin or floor module, sorry, within the truss plugin. And by the way, this is the truss plugin toolbar up here. If you click on this draw floor truss tool, you still can draw floor trusses, by the way, with the truss plugin, but of course you are limited to basically rectangular floor plans only. So that's still there, just so everybody knows. But yeah, let's jump into this real quick and get started here. I'm going to go ahead and throw it on a grid, and let's go ahead and demonstrate what we can do with this this new floor plugin. So with the floor plugin is much more powerful, has a lot more features, and let's just go ahead and start with a tool. It's going to go ahead and add a bunch of layers. All right. So typically when you first start up, you're going to notice it goes to iJoist automatically, and there's quite a few options here as far as what type of floor family you want to do. But now we have the truss, and the truss will open up this other sub menu here. And currently, as you can see, the only type we have is the Mod Warren style of truss, but I may add some others in eventually. It takes quite a bit of time actually to code these different configurations, and the reason is because inserting the webs can get rather complicated because there's so many permutations of whether they're top and bottom bearing trusses. So yeah, let's go ahead and just stay with bottom bearing on both left and right, and we'll keep the ribbon board on, and let's turn on our floor sheathing, and let's turn on our seal plate. All right, that's probably good enough. Hit update on that. All right, so let's go ahead and let's draw a bit of an interesting shape here. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of draw a weird polygon shape. Chances are you'll probably never have a floor that looks quite like this, but if you do, you'll be able to draw it. So I'm just trying to, and notice I'm keeping everything orthogonal. You can draw non-orthogonal floors, of course, but with the truss option, it really is best suited for orthogonal floors. Okay, let's go ahead and turn off that sheathing. As you can see, it's lined up there on top where it should be. But let's go ahead and just turn that off for now, and we can take a look at these trusses. So as you can see, we're quite zoomed out here. We're going to zoom in and take a look. So, oh, by the way, I have all the plates turned on. You don't have to have the plates turned on. Let me just show you guys real quick where that's at. In the global settings here, right here on the left-hand side, you can see truss connector plates. You can turn them on and off. You can also set the plate thickness. That plate thickness by default is the standard thickness of these truss plates that I've somewhere acquired that information from. Honestly, I can't even remember. It's been quite a few years now. But anyways, yeah, you'll probably want to turn that on first off before you even start drawing trusses. But if not, you can always turn it on and then regen your truss. So, all right, so there we go. As you can see, we've got fairly complicated bit of trusses here, but it gets actually more interesting than this. But the thing I wanted to point out real quick was, so with this bottom bearing trusses, you can see that we've got gable trusses positioned along, wherever they need to go. And then we've also got the ribbon board we've set up, and we can turn that on and off. I'm going to go ahead and just turn that off real quick in the settings just to show you guys what that looks like. So let's go ahead and click Edit Floor. And let's see here, ribbon board. Let's turn, or not ribbon board, sorry. Go down here into the truss options menu, sub-menu, and we can turn that ribbon board off. Okay, so let's do that. And we'll go ahead and update. And so now you can see that it's turned off. So yeah, there's a few options here that you have at your at leisure, but and then you can turn the gable end trusses off as well if you don't want those for whatever reason. One thing to note too is that the gable end trusses and ribbon boards only are drawn with these bottom bearing trusses. Now with top bearing trusses or top chord bearing trusses, first of all, there is no ribbon cut or ribbon board, and they're also, I do not draw in the gable truss. Now I may change that at some point. Basically, let's go ahead and show that actually what that looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go top bearing and top bearing, and then we'll see what happens. And you'll see this a lot in situations where you have like steel trusses. So you can see that the truss kind of hangs down below the seal plate here, right? Yeah, these are used often. I mean, they're not as often, I think, in floors, but probably more in like roofs and that sort of thing. I've seen them used in roofs a lot. But anyways, that's an option. And you can also change it up by doing top on one side and bottom on the other. There are applications where this happens. Of course, in something like this, I don't know that you would do that as much, but just to demonstrate. And by the way, I have the seal plate turned on. Let's go ahead and just we could turn that off right now, just so we can have a little more visual clarity here. What's going on? Okay, so you can see that on the left side of the truss now is top plate bearing, and the bottom on the right hand side you have bottom chord bearing, right? So you can, and by the way, you can switch it the other way as well. Okay, so I'm going to go back to bottom, and I'm going to turn the seal plate back on, and I'm going to show you guys now about chases. Okay, so your typical chase, usually about 24 inches. I mean, you can do whatever you like. And also, by the way, the same thing here. The truss depth here I've got set at 24. I mean, I've seen them as 18, 16 even, but it just depends what you want. And the panel length is typically 28 inches on most of the MyTech documents that I've seen, but I mean, it could vary as well. So I've basically made that variable. But let's go ahead and show you guys how to put chases in. Okay, so the way the chase works is you put it in inches, and I actually need to add the inches there. I forgot all about that, but I'll do that. And so let's say I want, and you start from the left side, right? So let's say I want to go from the left side over 8 feet. So that'd be 96 inches. And then let's say I want another chase, let's say, I don't know. What do we got? Where do we want to put it? Let's put another one. Let's say 16 feet, right? So what is that? Oh, that's, is that 192, I think? Let me see here. Get my calculator out. Yeah, it's 192. Okay, so let's hit that. Let's just try that. Notice how I put a comma between them. I delimitate them with commas. I'm just going to go ahead and hit update on that. Okay, and you can see that the chase lines up on all these different trusses, and it runs all the way through. Okay, so that's by design. And you can see that each truss profile has been adjusted. Now let's turn our gable truss back on too, and our rim boards. Let's put all the bells and whistles in there. Okay. Right, so there's our chases, right? And you can put in as many chases as you, actually that's not quite right. I think you can put up to 3 chases in. I can update that to more if we need to have more, but yeah, basically 3 is probably all you're going to need. I'm going to see, let's see, 192. I'm going to put in 3 chases in this particular instance just to try that out. Actually, I don't even know if I've tried 3 chases yet. Let's see here. Let's see, 96. We're going to add another every 8 feet. So let's try putting in 288 here. Sorry, I'm a little slower than I want to be here. Okay, so it's thinking. Okay, so now you can see we've got 3 different chases that go through the entire floor, and you can see that they terminate. So, for instance, this chase, of course, doesn't run up into this other front trusses here. So yeah, it's smart enough to figure out when to put the chase in and when not to, and that sort of thing. And I think you can get within 1 foot of the edge of the truss before it won't try to put the chase in. So it will limit you a little bit as far as chase placement. But you can see it's fairly easy to use. And again, the chase location is actually the left side of the chase. So if we measure here from the edge of this floor over to here, which is 8 feet, you can see that that's where that chase starts. And then, of course, it's 24 inches, so it's 24 inches wide. So it's not to the center of the chase. I may change it at some point, but for now, I'm just keeping it as it is. That's just the way I programmed it. So the chase is measured from the left side, basically to the left side of the floor. All right. So yeah, we've got gable trusses in here. Also, too, I wanted to point out real quick, there's situations here with this framing. I wasn't really sure what to do in this situation where the ribbon board comes over and attaches right here to this other gable truss. I think that would be a logical way to do that. But again, I'm not entirely sure on that, and you know, the different Medeek drawings may show you something slightly different. So if anybody has some ideas on that or wants to see something different, let me know. Here's an example where they happen to align, and so it seems to make, you know, a lot of sense to project that ribbon board, you know, so where it grabs this gable, and then, well, actually it doesn't grab the gable, grabs this last truss here, and then of course they align nicely there. So anyways, yeah, a lot going on with these trusses actually. And it took me about 5 days to program, put this all together, but really I was building off of, you know, all of my previous work. You can go through this changelog and you'll see quite a bit for floor trusses. So basically I took the original floor truss module out of the truss plugin. Well, I didn't take it out, I just copied it. And then I started adapting it so I could put multiple chases in, and also deal with the all this polygon shaped floor type structure, where it's just a lot of geometry going on here that has to be accounted for. So anyways, yeah, I think it's fairly robust. You've got bottom bearing trusses, you've got top bearing trusses, you can put multiple chases in. Again, you put those in from the left side, and those will be in inches, not feet, at least in the imperial units. I need to put that inches in there. I will do that. So that's clear. And then, yeah, if anybody has any ideas and would like to see more done, let me know. But just like the other floor options, you can use subtraction geometry. You can do non-orthogonal trusses, but if you do, you may have to clean things up a little bit with some subtraction geometry. But I think overall I'm pretty pleased with the way this has come together, and yeah, really excited. Again, yeah, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, I wanted to get this taken care of, and finally it's up and running. So yeah, really excited. All right, well guys, thanks so much, and if you have any suggestions or comments, please let me know, and we will talk to you guys later.